Hey y'all, it's Jenni Moseley, and we are here live with the Elevate Effect. It's time to take the dental field to a whole nother level. Fly with me, folks. Let's get real and let's get uncomfortable. Well, welcome back, everybody. So, Elevate After Dark, here we go. Let's do our toast. Welcome. Erica, let's do this. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Boom.
What, you got a seltzer there?
A seltzer. What are you, from Jersey? But she does. She has a very fancy seltzer. Let me
Florida seltzer with me.
All right. I like that.
Cool. And Craig and I have water and vodka, so that's just kind of our gig.
Mm-hmm.
So just to start off, we got some really cool feedback, and that makes us feel good because you're always taking some baby risks on trying to please people, and just, get a forum where people can just listen and talk. And it was kind of nice. I woke up at 4:00 this morning, which was only 20 minutes before my normal time. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, literally instantly, what is wrong with this podcast? And so I start making notes. So I want to make notes. So I go to my phone, I turn my phone on, and there is the feedback. And I said, well, then there's God telling me, no, you're right on time. And so, I think we spoke to people in a sense of working through adversities. And so, I do believe at one point we should kind of go into that, but I truly, truly, truly think that, and I'd love your feedback too, Craig, because you're not in the dental field, but you're a man, right? Ask my mother. I mean, ask my mom.
Yeah, so that was our little joke.
I did ask my mom, by the way, and she said you really are.
Yeah, she did.
She did.
Me. Yeah. I gotta go, actually.
Boom. She's hot. I mean, whatever. So anyway,
yeah, she is.
But oh my God, there's just a thing in dentistry that's there's so many layers to it, and I would love to just focus on the one layer, which is there's something called approval addiction, and if you look it up, I'll be honest with you, a lot of what comes back is really, interestingly enough, very faith-based. A lot of faithful preachers talk about approval addiction because in a sense, it does come from self-esteem. But you can use it in a lot of facets in business and everything, because so many people are afraid to not have people either purchase from them or buy from them, and they think they need them to like them to buy something. And dentistry, I mean, you can be in dentistry and you want everybody to come to your office. So you want everyone to like you. And then all of a sudden you got 5 employees and you're complete dicks to them. It just doesn't make sense, right? I mean, and then you walk into a room and like, do you want them to stay or do you want them to stay? It's weird. But truly, I believe that this is a major chronic problem in the dental field. And I'm so proud of what, I got haters going like, they get thrown at me weekly. And that's okay. I believe that, when you're on a path of vision and purpose, not everyone's going to like it. So when I sent that to you, Craig, what was your initial thought?
So my initial thought was there's some things that you don't realize that you do in life that once somebody says what they are, you're like, oh, I totally do that. And that was one of those for me where I was like, oh my gosh, I probably do, especially in the past. I've gotten much better about it now, but I've definitely craved approval more than probably is healthy, and more than I should be looking for my own approval more than anything else. I should be saying, all right, Craig, is this working for you? Is it making you happy and the people around you that you care about, rather than keeping up with somebody or whatever it might be? And it's a very difficult thing to do. My first reaction was I do that. And then my second reaction was like, you know what? Don't be too hard on yourself because you've gotten better about it.
Awesome. In the dental field, it's unbelievable, really. It's unbelievable how we make decisions not necessarily connected to what's best for somebody. We almost convince ourselves that what we're saying to them is best because we want them to like the answer. It's really, and again, I'm sure many people will probably get angry at me with this, but then some will actually feel good that I'm willing to say the truth. That's the point of Elevate After Dark. Ding.
Yeah. Well, and this goes right back to what you always say about, which I think is so true about if you just keep getting yeses in the sales process, you've already lost. And it's, oh my gosh, it drives me nuts. Sometimes I'll do that to a cold caller. They'll call about whatever. I'd be like, yes, I do want to buy more internet bandwidth from Spectrum, plus your TV service, plus a plugged in phone. Like, who needs a plugged in phone at this point? And they're still trying to sell that. And they get to the end of the phone call and it's like, they think they won. I'm like, all right, well, I'll call you back when I'm interested. You know, I mean, it doesn't work. The whole yes thing, it's just getting the approval. It's not actually getting to what they really need.
Well, what's interesting is, as I thought about this wee hours this morning, to me, like when you read the words approval in our own eyes doesn't necessarily mean that what we think they want as being approved. You know, it's like, that's the weird part about it, is we don't even ask a question ahead of time. We're just assuming. For example, in the dental field, you know what I mean? Like, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
such a good point.
Let me give you an example in dentistry, and you give me an example outside. So, like, you know, you get people that it's so put assumptions everywhere. And Erica can probably test this too. You know, you see somebody and you know that they, let's say a tooth needed something different, and you wonder why the previous office did what they did to the tooth. And you ask the patient, why did you choose this? That's what they did. And it was like, okay, so you didn't get a choice. Well, no. So there are assumptions already that they're going to balk at money, or they're going to balk at this, or going to balk. And it's just like, I just want to make them like me. I just need them to like me or be happy. And they assume that the answer they give them is like, they're afraid of that no, where we welcome the no, where it's like, hey, okay, you could do this, which is a lot less expensive. Insurance will pay for it. But here's the flip side. You could do this, more expensive. The insurance probably won't give you as much, but here's the flip side. What do you choose? That is nowhere around. It's bizarre, because I'll say something like, do they not give that as a choice? You know, like for even buying a car or whatever, like, show me the goods, man. I'm not going to say I'm going to do it, but go to the top. Give me a chance. Let me ride that ride. I want to be able to say no. And it's weird that, you know, in the general setting of dentistry, or even not in the general setting, I mean, even in what we do, I don't know why more dentists, that's why I've been screaming for so long and so passionate about it. More dentists don't do this dentistry, because they're to me, the process to get patients to want to do it isn't about you telling them to do it. And so the minute that they get a person on the flip side having some kind of like eye movement or offensive movement, like, oh, no. And like, oh, they don't like me. I got to, no, you're good. Yeah, shut it down. It's really interesting.
And from my experience too, I would say I even went a step farther than that, which is not a good thing. I think I pre-assumed what people would want for approval. And that's the third largest martini glass I've ever seen, by the way. I own the other two, the first and second largest. A lot of times I would just assume that the person or the company that was calling was low budget. And I really had to get myself out of that and just start asking questions instead, because you have no clue what kind of budget they have, what kind of expectations they have, what kind of needs they have, until they actually tell you or you ask them. So a great example was yesterday, I got a call from McGraw-Hill, which is a gigantic online learning company. And like, if we hadn't gone down the road on the conversation, I would have just assumed it was kind of a small shoot. They want a gigantic shoot. But it's like, how would you know if you made that assumption and if you were just looking for the early approval? It's like I could have totally shot myself in the foot and not only not gotten the budget that the project deserved, but also been a bad fit because it wouldn't have been high budget enough. I mean, they just wouldn't have gone with me because of that. There's a lot of people who think price is value, because a lot of times it is. And so they would have excluded me just for that.
Well, what's interesting you just said, because there's going to be tiers and layers I want to go through each time. And this does get to a layer that I would coin riding the bull. Like you got to get through the approval addiction to ride the bull. The people can't even get on the bull and ride it because they're just stuck trying to get approval before they even get on it. And so it's like you want the bull to really like you. He's still going to try. Now, if he likes you, he's going to want to buck you off even more. So like it goes approval addiction, then you ride a bull, and then you got to eat humble pie. So we're going to go through all these little steps. So true, right? Oh yeah. And but truly, the chronic problem is in dentistry and in the dental field, in my opinion, is the addiction to just want to have approval. And it's sad because, like you said, they're there to hear from you. They're there to understand and know from you. And the ones that we hear from are the ones that tend to tell us that they didn't tell them what we told them. So just try it once. It'll blow your mind. I remember when I moved here and started the gig in Savannah, I was told really early on, because a lot of these crews like to do personality testing. And then they do the personality testing, and then they think that makes up an entire person, like DISC. Again, I think it's great. It helps so many things, but it should not be everything. And so I was told, oh, you just need people to like you. And I said, okay, you want me to prove it to you? And
that does not sound like that would be your personality.
Well, here's why. Here's why, because the person that said it didn't understand my process. And didn't understand sales. And, after a while of working together, not even a while, maybe a month, recognized that it was actually the opposite. Is approval, like, I don't even go to what would not be approval until I get to approval from something outside of a sale.
Okay, we need to unpack that a little bit. Tell us that in another way, because that was really good, but I want to make sure we all understand it.
So opening the door up of the person has to happen before you try to sell them something. And you have to recognize what you're dealing with before you offer and try to start the sale. Okay. And so to relieve the approval addiction, you have to learn who's in front of you. And some people think that as I'm doing that, that's when I'm trying to get them to like me to actually sell something to them. I don't even start the sale then yet. And so, so I believe that people go in too fast. They go in with assumptions, and they go in so hard that they get the negativity because they go in so hard for the approval of the person. I'm just trying to learn, can I even do this person even going to do anything with me? I mean, I am not learning if you're going to like me. I'm learning, are you going to do something for yourself? And if you are, then let's get there. But I'm okay to get, again, I'm not looking for them to feed me. I'm looking to see if they're going to feed themselves. If they're going to feed themselves, then I'm going to go for it. To me, we go in straight hard and say, are they going to buy from me? And that, to me, is where people fail. And that's why they're literally looking right away is, are you going to buy from me? Are you going to, again, help me say this better, because I'm obviously not.
So it sounds like a date where you don't go in for the kiss on the 10 seconds into meeting them. You try to figure out if you guys are going to be compatible. You ask them the questions to see if you have similar values, things like that. You kind of let it develop organically, and then you go from there.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's this very small percentage of people that have had sex in 30 seconds and got married and had a 40-year relationship. Usually the quick sex is the quick sex.
Wait, you too?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Boom. But the quick sex is the quick sex. And so if you want the composite filling, then go do that. That's your approval addiction. Like people go on a date. I need them to like me. I'm going to have sex with them. That means they like me. No, it doesn't. They want to have sex with you. That's it. Okay, great.
Right.
That's the point. Like, so, oh, great analogy. Now, see, after dark, we can do that. Let's have
That's
a drink
right.
to that.
This
Here
is the
we
sort of thing
go.
we can talk about.
Boom. Now you're talking. Erica, lift your glass, doll. Oh, I'm sorry. Whatever you have there. But see, some people really need this. They need us to be who we are and who we
Well, and
are.
I think these analogies, for me, this really helps to bring it home. This is the kind of sort of thing that I will think about later on and be like, oh, this kind of correlates to this and whatever it might be. So the dating analogy in sales, I think we could keep going with that because it makes a lot of sense in my brain. Hopefully it makes sense in other people's brain as well.
You know, when you
Okay.
said approval addiction, the first thing I thought of was getting approval from your team members, your leader, and then the patient. I was thinking of all those different ways.
Oh, it is everywhere. But
All the same.
to me, like I said, if you look it up, it's a lot faith-based. They do a lot of this in a lot of what are they motivational people faith, because they talk a lot about the people that no okay the self-esteem people, the people that have the really depth of a lower self-esteem in a faith way, they tend to have, they need the approval of somebody else to fulfill themselves, and they use that a lot. So I think it's everywhere. I mean,
But
I don't think if
you're saying approval, and I'm hearing it different ways now, again, after you've been talking, there's approval of the sale. They approve of they basically buy something from you, or they just like you, because somebody might purchase something but not like you at the end of it.
Well, that's the point. Is you typically the like doesn't come even until it's all the way done. You shouldn't have a lot of like through it because it's uncomfortable. You're taking money from them more than they want. It shouldn't be a like until it's done and they're like, "Well, thank you." I mean, why I've been called the Black Widow, and why I'm called names every week. I mean, I'm not here to make them like me. I'm here to get them to like themselves. And so that totally is so true. Like, so approval, though, the concept of approval addiction is, well, you just said something that may open up a door here for other people to listen, Erica. You said buying something from them is approval. Okay. But there's two different types there's a purchase, like something's on a shelf and you choose to do that. You see it and you go, I want that ring, and I buy that ring. Or you see 5 rings and somebody has to actually educate you through so that they can get you to actually get the ring that really you want, but by yourself you wouldn't have done it. That's
Yeah.
the difference. The approval is that too. You just made a face.
Me?
Oh, okay. Well, you might be helpful to people that are listening.
I made a face at something that was in my face.
To that, I'll drink.
That's where I'm at today.
Oh my God.
No, because I'm thinking, okay, you said something about either if it's anybody and somebody, like Craig on the phone with somebody, or you're in the room. I'm thinking back to when I was in a general office, the things I would hear all day. There was this one dentist I worked with who just wanted to get somebody to say yes to him.
Yes.
And
They
so
just
it's
needed
like,
a win so
and it's
bad.
like-
They're like,
right.
Give me a filling, please. Just give me anything.
anything that's a yes, it's like that's me winning. They're saying yes to me
Right.
all day. I am winning. So that it to me is one way, but then there's also, they still might not like you in that. So then there's also just not saying anything just so they like you. Like that's also a different level in my brain.
Well, I think that's why when we mentioned this, somebody in the field said, what was the comment? Greg, you say it.
minor. Here I am with my approval addiction. If he's not going to listen to this anyways. Dentists have that in spades, was the comment.
So, I mean, a dentist is saying that about dentists. So
Right.
it's true. Like, and look, there's nothing wrong with, like nobody's saying you're a bad person. I mean,
so what?
we're just on the, like I said, we're people on this podcast trying to kill it in life. And so we're after dark, we're having a glass and we're going, you know what? We're working through this. So if you don't like any of it, hang up, or what's that called?
Hang up.
Yeah. I mean, you can move on at any point, but we
At
hope
any
you don't,
point,
and we
yeah.
hope you get something out of it, because
Yeah.
it really is. The next time you sit down with a prospect and immediately they're saying yes, or you're not giving them the right thing, or you're taking the easy way out, just think to yourself, you know what? I just had sex on the first date. Was it worth it? No,
Right.
It was not.
No, I woke up and I was like, ooh, what
Yeah.
happened? No,
It's not a win.
not
The
a,
approval is
not a quick thing you could have done by yourself. Okay. Okay. So the layer though is if we if you like if we were all on a trip together and we're in a car, our first stop is the approval addiction stop, and we can't leave that until we get to the next stop, which is riding that bull. And you can't ride that bull. You know, Eric and I were doing a small little baby training yesterday that turned into something we had to schedule for a bigger one.
As they
Because
usually do.
truly, you know, riding the ride with a patient, everyone tries to do. And I think the problem is that they're not breaking through the fact that they shouldn't care if the person likes them to take them there. And that's the hardest part. It's like the confrontational tolerance, you know, that we speak of so much, eating your frog. It's really weird. It is a true epidemic. I'm not kidding.
How do you know when the ride starts?
How do
when
you
it gets
know?
tough.
Well, you know, to me,
When you
you're
start
able to
sweating.
when you get your first no, when they start to be comfortable enough to say no to you. Okay, Eric, Riki and I think we did one a few weeks ago. Remember, and I said, if you're in a conversation, and again, I'm not a professional leader. I'm just trying to kill it in life, so I'm just going to do this.
You're not a professional leader, but you lead people.
Well, I try, but I'm not saying they follow. Okay, so but when you're in a meeting with your team and your team's going like this, they ain't listening. I just don't believe it.
It's the Charlie Brown teacher effect over here.
If you're just talking, you're not leading. That's to me not leading. That's the same thing in the room. And so I tend to, as you can, you know, the way, I mean, to me, if we're in a meeting or a morning meeting, afternoon meeting, I mean, you know, I want heat. I want to feel heat because I know, well, it's true, Erica, that means you're leading. See, you know, I'm not trying to like get people pissed off. But I'm just trying. There's emotions in there after a day of dentistry.
Yes.
And if you can't get it out of your folks, they're going to take it home and they're going to bring it back the next day. Just like a sale with a patient, they're going to carry the fear and then they're going to go, you know what? I don't want to do this. I'm too scared. So, I mean, I'm the one who's willing to go, okay, let's do this. And I'll do whatever it takes to get it out. Because that getting it out is where we start to win. And I don't care if they like me or not.
What it kind of reminds me of is the parent who wants to be the kid's friend versus the parent who wants to raise a great kid. It's not easy. I'm not a father, but it's not easy to raise a good, well-balanced kid in this world of like iPads and the internet and TikTok and all this other nonsense. It's like they need discipline. It just has to happen. And you got to be the bad guy and ride the bull for quite a while. And then once they're older, that's when the approval comes and they're happy that you did all that. Otherwise, you get that kid in the mall who's like pitching a fit and going nuts, and everybody's seen it. And we probably all experienced it with their, whatever you take care of, your dog, your kid, whatever it is. It's like, oh man, that kid's being a jerk. Well, it's like, yeah, you probably conditioned him to be a jerk.
Listen, we were in the airport and this kid was being really crazy. My daughter looks at me and goes, I don't even know what you'd do with me if that was me.
I love that.
My husband was like, yep. I don't know what you guys would do with me if that was me. You guys would whoop my
That is
ass.
awesome.
But so, but well, like it's everywhere. That's why we do this thing. I mean, it's the wheel of life. I mean, all of this happens everywhere.
Yeah.
Dating, parenting, business, friendship, leadership, it's all the same. When I try to talk to some leaders and I'm like, look, I don't believe that your team is telling you everything you want to know. Oh, no, they do. They share with me. Okay. Now, have they ever told you something that you don't want to hear? Because if they
Yeah.
haven't, they ain't sharing.
Right. You got sycophants. You don't have employees.
That is correct. So to me, I was so excited to talk about this because I know that it's very hard to do what we do. And honestly, the word sales is so icky. And I hate that because it is, I mean, you're coming to a place to buy something, but what we don't, we just take people where they want to really be. And if they don't want to get there, we won't even go there. There's no forcing, but there's a process, psychological process to do anything in life. And you got to get past the fact that they're not there for you. They're going to let you think that, but you got to let it go. They are there for them. And so the beginning to get to get past the approval addiction, to me, the beginning has to be nothing connected to what it is they want to ask you to do for them. You've got to spend time getting rid of that first.
Okay,
And so,
give me an example on that, because everything you said before that, I was totally tracking. That part I got lost a little bit, and I want to hear more.
So if let me pull up somebody that we saw this week. Okay, so I've got a patient, and she's she was here like 6-7 years ago. I know that she was here before, so she understood some things, and has come back. Went through a divorce, sold a house, so has some money to kind of get her mouth healthy. Well, from that time till now, not been anywhere. It ain't the same, right? And so, but she's already very vocal and open about what she wants to spend. Many people would have just said, okay, let's just do that. I mean, she said, I want this. So, I have this much money. Here, let's do it.
The amount of money that she had didn't get her to her final destination for what she really needed.
So, well, no, I mean, like this time she comes back and she's like, so I really couldn't do things last time. And I know I still really can't, because we had talked to her about like 30s, 40s and stuff. And she's like, I really still can't do something like that. I'm kind of sitting more comfortable in like a $10,000 range. I'm like, okay, well, now again, that's a lot of money. And that is a lot of money in dentistry, where you could, in some places, you could do a ton of dentistry on. And so the initial person would say, boom, sold this puppy. I got 10 grand. Let's do this thing. And that right there is, to me, is that, okay, they like me already. I don't even have to work at this. They like me. Mm-hmm. I'm good. I'm happy. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to do this $10,000. Then all of a sudden you get a plan and she goes, can I do that one first? I just want to do that one first, then that one and that one. I'll just do like $2,000 at a time. Cause no, that's not what we do. So to me, I train, okay, well, someone has 10. I know I got to let them see double. And the reason why is because typically when they think it's something, it's twice as much.
What do you mean?
So I got to
think it's something.
Huh?
What do you mean by think it's something? When they think
so if they have 10K in mind, it's actually going to be 20.
But you're saying that not because you want to just make it more money. You're saying that because what she's asking for actually costs more money to actually achieve it.
Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you. So when you have somebody that comes in and has a specific budget, just think of yourself. Have you ever really had, let's say you have $6,500 and you want to go buy a used car. Have you ever really found one for exactly $6,500? And if you have, was it the one you wanted?
Have you ever redone a bathroom and it hasn't cost more than you originally budgeted?
I mean, so
It's
really,
like you open up a wall and there's dry rot everywhere, or there's the joists are
yeah,
gone, or whatever it
I'm
might
not
be.
saying you want to make them spend that. You need to let them at least see it to get the no. You got to take them double because you got to go, okay, if you think it's that, typically we always think it's less. Let's just be real. Do we ever go, okay, so my budget's 50, but I'm going to go and say, you know what? I'm going to ask for a 100K house or something. You don't do that. People go as
Right.
low as they can for themselves. And so thank you for clearing that up, Erica. You are amazing.
It just sounded like a little bit, because again, you know, you've been called a lot of things over the years.
Oh, that is awesome.
So, I think I know the truth because I've been around you long enough, and it's not the case. It's just not. And it's always a matter of somebody asking for something, and you are truly trying to get them to see, look, you want this. If you want to achieve this, this is what it looks like. If not, we got to start cutting back, you know, all these things.
Well, let me ask you a question, Jenny. So if you didn't get that final life-changing outcome, would you still be asking for the budget that you're asking for?
Well, now I don't follow you.
Okay, so
My
what I'm
language
getting
is
at,
so back.
so what I'm getting at is the reason that you guys are comfortable asking for this amount of money is because the life change is there at the end. Because you got to be a jerk the whole way through and ride the bull, and they shell out all this money, but there is that life change at the end.
Well, that's it. I think that's why we tend to work with people work with team members that work in offices where you have the dentistry to do this, because you know you're not selling a pipe dream. I mean, it happens. It truly happens. I mean, they're changing bras for this stuff. I mean, they change their lives. But and again, go back to our podcast with Paul. Hope people are listening. You know, that the branding component is really crucial in this, because people need to see you are something before they walk in the door. But for purposes of this approval addiction, they right away in dentistry, there's a win to them. I'm done. I've won. And what happens is the patient then has this thing like, no effort. And that's why most people learn, like they'll call me and go, how do you get the budget out of them? Because they don't want to tell me. I'm like, well, hi, you're going in hot, man. What are you doing? I mean, what does that matter? So most patients after a while get so turned off, and they're just not even want to share with you, because you know, they're thinking that you just want a number so they can use the number. That's not the point here. They have every right to leave you and never come back. But you know that if their brain is thinking something and they've created, even if they've created $1 budget, they know that there's a need, right? I know I need something, so I got to put a budget out to make it happen. Always think, for the patient's sake, double that so they can see the reality, and then they can walk into whatever they want. But with this patient, I was like, well, here's the thing. Look, put aside all of that, because I don't even know if we can help you at this point. You know, who knows what it looks like. And, you know, I said, but, you know, what's your ultimate goal? You know, and you learn about her. I learn about the divorce. I learn about, I mean, the new, you know, her new life. And you just learn about this stuff, and you start to go, okay. And you really understand more about the patient, and you go, okay, she actually is ready for this. Her timeline, her wheel of life is ready. She's gotten rid of baggage. She actually has a good career. Her kids are settled. She has a new relationship. She's feeling great about things. And so that wheel of life that I always talk about, this patient is ready. So now I'm saying that she's ready for herself. Now I got to go put her through it. And this is where you go through riding that bull. And so, you know, granted, this patient probably needed a full mouth reconstruction. I mean, we got her to 22, which got her a life change, because she's missing teeth in the back. She can now chew. She created breath problems. She's going to get that relieved with hygiene. I mean, it's a hefty budget for somebody like her, and it will be a life change for her. But she went from one place to the next because she chose it for herself. But if I stopped at the beginning, because I was like, yeah, I got this. I got approval. Boom. She likes us. We're in. We're in. What would have happened is you would have gotten to an exam and you would have been like, okay, so here it is. You got this, 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 straight for your budget. Okay, well, let me just do this one over here first. Because truly it didn't become a journey or an experience for the patient. You didn't make her ready. She just told you a budget. Doesn't mean she wanted to spend it. You had to create the purchase differently. And that, I believe, is a huge, huge problem. One quick minute, we have a few minutes, is there also is a flip side, because you can also be too much of a D-bag as well. This doesn't mean that you get the right to be a jerk to people either. Passing through the approval addiction doesn't mean that you just get to, for example, somebody's asking you to do something and you don't want to do it, so you offend them. This is not about offending people. This is just about letting go that, yes, they've already chosen you. They're in your office. They've called you. They're in your room. That is already there. The approval to be in your office is there. Let go that whatever you choose to tell them to do, let it go, because it has nothing to do with you. If you just do that one thing, you will double what you get to do for them, not in money, but in experience and in journey. And it's a thing in dentistry. I mean, look how quick that response was, Craig. I mean, it is a thing. Did you see that today?
Yeah, she's talking about the doctor who responded to us earlier on the thread, and just immediately said that approval addiction is a thing with dentists.
Huge. But it's cool that you even said it. I think all of us, even women in general, I mean, we walk down the street, and if nobody looks at, and we're feeling like, yeah, we got these good jeans on, and nobody looks at your ass, you're like, oh, damn it. I thought I looked good today. Nobody even looked at me. And then, or they look at you and you're like, oh God, is it fat? Is it wrinkly? It's this constant. And so it's everywhere. And so nobody's a bad person for it. But all we're trying to teach in this is, pick a part in your life at one at a time, like Craig said he did even personally, and say, you know what, make baby steps. Because we're in the dental field, Eric and I like to talk about the office. I mean, look, no joke. She has done a killer in the last 2 weeks because she just truly doesn't care as much. Not for the people. No, I'm just saying, though, it's like,
true.
Yeah, you can't get an analysis paralysis.
I'm just really trying to get out of there. That's the main thing on my brain, is not worrying about, everybody coming into hygiene wants their teeth cleaned because that's why they think they're coming in. So I think it's hard as a hygienist or that kind of provider to say no to that, because that's your approval. Is they came in for their cleaning, I cleaned their teeth, and everybody's happy and they're happy and I did a good job and blah, blah, blah. But I don't care about that right now because I've got too many other things going on.
But you're moving to a place where you can find that you're going to do something powerful that you can actually deliver. Mm-hmm. And now people are chasing her. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're calling her like, hey, Erica told me to do something. What do I do? I mean, it's to a point where she's like, God, I have too many people calling me now. And that it's so true. I mean, just try it. Let go, man. I mean, and
we want to know how it goes. Like we would love to hear where your own approval addictions lie. Because like you said, there could be in all different parts of your life. And we want to know if you just let go a little bit and try to get the person to where they're meant to be, not where you think they might be meant to be. How does it go for you? We really want to hear about it.
We really do. And honestly, we go through it daily. We talk about it all the time. I mean, ain't going to lie. I mean, once you do it a ton, you really help people change their lives, but you do get a lot of negative feedback. Or I do. I don't know. And maybe it's my delivery and I need to work on. but truly deep down, do the patients, these people, did they get what they wanted? They kind of did. So I'm happy for them. And that's what you got to be more happy about. But I was so excited to talk about this today. I'm hoping that everybody got something out of it. If it's dating, way to go, Craig. Boom. But hopefully we hear some more.
Yeah, looking forward to it, guys. Thank you
Killer.
so much.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us for another episode. As you know, we're always looking for feedback, so please don't forget to give it to us. Let us know if there's anything you want to hear about. And don't forget to follow us on social media so you don't miss out on what's coming up next.